And since I would like to respect everyone's time, we are going to go ahead and get started with the webinar. And again, for anybody that is joining us, if you wouldn't mind taking a moment just to introduce yourself in the chat, let us know where you're from, what you do, and something that you'd like to learn today. And just before we begin, I just wanted to let you know that to please use the Q&A feature on Zoom for any questions that you might have. You can upvote questions. We'll make sure that we either answer those live or via message in the Q&A feature. Can use the chat for any ideas or comments of things that are going on. And then we will also be following up this webinar with an email where you will get the slide deck and the recording. So if there's anything that you missed or have questions on, we will get that over to you. And then just as an FYI, so our league is very interesting. We have a couple associations that help run our league. So Play Versus, who we have two individuals from Play Versus with us today, Jacob and Mike, which I will be handing this over to them in just a few moments. They help us run our platform. They do all of the league ops. They handle all of the behind the scenes that happen with the league, and they are our experts. So we will defer a lot of questions over to them. And then MHSEL actually started and is housed by the Michigan Association of Secondary School Principals and the Michigan Association of Student Councils and Honor Societies. So if you ever hear about the, somebody call it the Play Versus League or the MASSP League, they're really referring to MHSEL. So we're just trying to get that point across and help clarify any confusion that might come up with. So now I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen share and hand it over to Jacob here, who will be taking over for the rest of the webinar.
Yeah, appreciate it, Maggie. I'll go ahead and share my screen here. Just let me know if there's any issues getting this pulled up or unable to see that for any reason. Hopefully, where did it go?
We are good to go. I can see your screen.
Perfect. Let's see here. Sorry about this for the little bit of technical difficulties. I had this pulled up, but it wanted to disappear on me. So hopefully if I go full screen, can you guys see the slide deck now?
Yep.
Good. Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for bearing with me for just a moment there. So yeah, this is going to be just a little bit of information about, the Michigan High School Esports League and exactly who Play Versus is and what we accomplish together. When does it start? How does it start? Where do we compete? How do we start? Why now? Etc. And be happy to answer any questions you might have. So to kind of get started here at the top for who Play Versus is, I'm Jacob Anderjack, Michigan representative here for Play Versus for New Schools. I grew up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and now reside here in Grand Rapids. So definitely a Michigander through and through. And let Mike introduce himself as well here.
Hey, so I'm Mike Book. I'm the Customer Success Associate for Michigan. And fun fact, I was born in Dearborn, Michigan. So I was originally a Michigander as well, but now I live in Austin, Texas. So a little warmer down here. But yeah, happy to be here. And I'll be in the Q&A answering any questions. And yeah, just shoot them my way. Thank y'all.
Yeah, so to kind of go into exactly, just Play Versus as a whole. It's only our 4th year as a company. So we're definitely relatively new here, proven every day. Exclusive partner with the NFHS, which is the National High School Athletics, essentially. So definitely a good partnership there where we work directly beside them and gaming publishers to bring esports to all 50 states. Over 77,000 matches have now been played on Play Versus. So it's just continuously growing. And to kind of give you a little bit of a breakdown of exactly who it is that all kind of works together here, the publisher team works with us, and the state association partnership team, which would be the MASSP, also works with us. We're able to kind of funnel that down to bring the esports experience onto the students. So through all of this, what is possible and how does it affect the students is kind of one of, if not the biggest aspect of this entire thing. So with all of us, able to support and encourage you, kind of to go over what we can accomplish, it's important to know that most esports athletes are reporting it's their first time they participated in an after-school activity. I think it goes without saying, that information alone is an encouraging motivator to bring more school pride to these students than seen previously. In addition to that, esports has a wide variety of skills that are welcome at Playversus. Our structured coach-led leagues allows them to bring their interest to a place where new skills can be learned, developed, whether that's teamwork, communication, leadership, a lot of stuff that just goes into the overall esports, being a part of a team, everything that goes into it. And, looking beyond like the immediate benefits, we found that creating a space for the students to enjoy esports has led them to new projects and ideas that continue their career paths long term. We've seen students help with broadcasting, designing team logos, helping create jerseys, banners, whatever it might be. It's pretty cool to see a lot of those on display this past weekend at the fall championships. So definitely a lot of stuff outside of the actual games alone that the students can do to be involved. So to touch a little bit earlier on some of the benefits that it brings towards the students, we did do a survey where we pulled over 550 coaches and players combined to find that the benefits were seen and ultimately made a difference in their high school experience and how they view their school. Some students reported being more lively and dedicated to something other than their typical schoolwork. Both the coaches and parents have reported positive shifts in attitudes at the schools where esports is happening amongst the students. So definitely awesome to see. Lots of good skills that, are transferable onto whether that be college, the workforce, whatever it might be. So definitely some good promising numbers there. And just to give you a little bit overview of exactly, the titles that we do offer. We do offer 8 different titles to the students to compete in against other schools. The most popular ones are the titles that we offer the Michigan State Championships for. So that would be Super Smash Bros, Rocket League, and League of Legends. So these 3 titles are going to have Michigan specific only leagues, whereas the other titles listed will be of more of an Eastern type of league where there might be some schools from other states. And then those 3 titles that we have that Michigan League for are the ones we have the championships for. So it can be a lot, but definitely, happy to break down any of these types of games, exactly what they are and how they're played on an individual basis, or answer any questions you might have about the specific titles. Biggest thing to remember is that they are played on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 4 p.m. And on screen, there is a little bit of a guide there to kind of fill you in on which day each title will be played on. So to kind of touch on, what all kind of comes with being a part of Playversus, with access to our site, you'll have multiple promotions running at any time. Right now we're going on about our Nintendo Switch bundle promotion, which is essentially a free Nintendo Switch to any school that will enroll before the January 17th deadline. So if you guys do have interest in getting that free Nintendo Switch bundle, just let me know. Pretty much what that entails is getting a team enrolled in one of the Nintendo titles. We're able to provide game codes for all of the games that are on the Nintendo Switches, so no need to worry about buying those. If you guys are going to be competing with Playversus, we're able to provide those codes for free download. On League of Legends, we offer Champion Unlock, which will unlock all the characters for the League of Legends teams to kind of even that playing field for all the schools. So kind of different stuff all over the place that kind of comes along with being a part of Playversus, but it's always something going on where it's, pretty cool for the students to be able to get access to. So to kind of shift a little bit here, let's talk about why now. So trying to tie this back to the values we articulated earlier, you can start engaging more students in the school sponsored activities now. So we have a season coming up real soon. We'll kind of touch on that. Our team's here to help you set up these programs of all sizes, whether it's 3 students or 100 students. First time or you've been doing it for 10 years, we're happy to assist you whichever way we can. So definitely no better time than right now. Here we have a little heat map of the schools that were participating in our spring season last year. This is growing a bit since then over the fall season, and we expect to have it, even bigger for the spring season of 2023. So you're able to kind of see on the map here exactly, who's competing in your areas. Definitely have, dots popping up everywhere across the bottom mitten and the top mitten now. So, definitely pretty good variety when it comes to where the schools are located. And then the Playversus platform itself is going to be your mission control center for your esports program. So within this web-based application is going to be where you create your account. You can verify the students, set up the teams, enroll in the season, of course, and then the day-to-day activities like checking your upcoming games, who you're going to be playing against, and kind of seeing this league standings on, who's going to be making the playoffs and whatnot. So all of that's going to be right on the website. Super easy to use. Once you get the hang of it, it's very, very user-friendly. So all in one hub for you to be able to control everything right there. And then to kind of touch on the league structure on exactly how it works. So as I mentioned, you'll be playing one title per game per week at the same time at 4 p.m. And the Smart Scheduler just released this past fall to kind of help bring in more schools that, might have had some forfeits on the schedule prior. So with this new Smart Scheduler, pretty much what it is it's going to match you up against the school that's going to be the best competition for your school on that given day. So that's going to be how that Smart Scheduler works. Once again, be happy to touch on it in more detail if you have any questions about the scheduling once the season actually gets started. But overall, we brought this out in the fall, and so far it's been really, really good on eliminating those forfeits, and we're seeing, almost every school competing every week. So super excited about that. And then for the actual match reporting, this is going to be, where the coaches are able to input the game results as the match progresses. The feature will enable coaches to view match results as the games are being played as well. And in case you need to discuss those results with the opposing coach or anything else for that matter, you'll now be able to see the role of the person you're talking to in the chat next to their username and icon. So you'll know for sure if it's the coach from the other school, who you're going to want to be talking to in that type of situation. And then to kind of touch on the scrimmaging factor here, the scrimmaging platform is super, super cool. Love it when schools are engaged in this. Pretty much what it is with the scrimmage tool, you're able to find friendly competitions with other schools to practice gameplay. Just kind of like a traditional type of scrimmage, you might see in basketball or football before a season starts. But here in esports, you can do them all year long. So you can kind of filter by the time, the title, the game, and even the skill level of the other school you'd like to practice with. So if you're a beginner team or a casual team or competitive team, with the scrimmaging feature, you'll be able to find schools in your area or not in your area at your skill level or thereabout to practice with. Definitely helps the students, be able to get more comfortable before the season starts. So encourage anyone to scrimmage, especially since the scrimmaging feature and aspect is entirely available 365 days of the year. If you can find a school to be willing to scrimmage with you on Christmas, definitely would work. So, super cool. Works every day. You guys can start doing this tomorrow if you wanted to. So really, really cool that we have that. And then to give you a little breakdown on the actual season that's going to be underway. So the registration for the spring 2023 season is already open now. Our preseason is going to be starting on January 30th. The preseason is going to be 2 weeks long. It is optional, but I personally encourage any new school to definitely participate in at least 1 week of the preseason, just to make sure that all the network stuff is going to work, the hardware is going to work, and just to get those students that little additional practice time. The fall registration deadline will be on the second Friday after the preseason. So that'll be February 10th will be the final deadline to enter any teams for that spring season. So that's probably the most important date out of all of the days that will be listed here. That February 10th date will be the registration deadline, final day to enter teams. And then once the season actually starts, that will be the following week after the registration deadline. So on that week of February 13th is when you'll actually start. You'll play one match per week for each game title. That'll go on for 8 weeks during the regular season. Each school does get 1 week off during that regular season. You can select that week off when you enroll. So if your school has like a spring break, students won't be around, probably the best week during the spring season to utilize that bye week for. Once those 8 weeks are up, you'll have played all of your matches with 1 week off. That is when the postseason will start. The postseason is just like a traditional sports bracket, whereas, you're winning, you advance on to the next round of the bracket. If you lose, you are done for the year. And then that'll lead us into our state championships, which will be in late April. So that state championship will be apparently, I'm hearing, at Western Michigan University, which I'm super excited for, as I am a former Bronco myself. So super excited for that. And that'll be towards the end of April. And now to talk a little bit about, just getting started. So what can you do today? The first thing that I would recommend you do is, get your schedule finalized and make sure you have the space reserved that you'll need for all of the matches and practice time. make sure you have that hardware. Go ahead and jump onto playversus.com and sign up, familiarize yourself with the platform. It's super user friendly. On that website, you'll find access to our help center with all the coaches' resources and materials, along with our rule books. And then also, kind of once you're getting us started on everything, start talking with your IT department to make sure that the technical side is going to work. Sometimes we do need to whitelist certain, addresses or ports for these games to be played on the school's internet. So definitely good to get that worked out ahead of time. And then, also get your school involved, like outside of just actually the esports stuff, start, if you can have the resources for it, start promoting it within your school, make banners the same way that, a football team would, hang them up, kind of promote the team itself and, make it relevant at the school. Definitely goes a long way. So that's definitely a few things that you can do to kind of get started early. And then also as well, the players will benefit encouragement from the peers that they naturally start to see when you kind of advocate that program. So as I mentioned, start to kind of build that word of mouth type of thing at your school where people are finding out, that this is something you guys will be offering and, get the word out there. So definitely huge on that advocate portion of this. So to kind of touch on these plans and pricing, these are actually the prices that we offer always, but we do have an early bird kind of offering going on right now. So with that early bird offering, you will get 20% off of any of these prices if you do enroll before that January 17th date. So essentially, if you're going with that early bird pricing model, the best way to think about it will be $64 a player for a player pass, or you can do the single season unlimited, which will grant you as many teams for as many students within your school as you would want. And that would be $1,250 with that early bird access rather than the $1,500, which would be the price after January 17th. So if you want to take advantage of that early bird offering, just make sure that you get a hold of myself or anybody else, on this call and let us know before that January 17th day. So that kind of wraps up my portion here. Would be happy to take any questions and pass it kind of back to Maggie and see if she has anything to add there.
Hi, thank you so much, Jacob. I did want to make note. We did receive a couple questions. Mike and I both popped some information into the chat for people. We did have a question on, is there a minimum number of students you'd recommend for a team? Noting that they have 5 to 6 students interested. I did note that it really just depends on the game that the students would be interested in playing. Like for instance, League of Legends, I know is a 5-player game, whereas like Rocket League and Super Smash Brothers are 3 versus 3 person game. Mike, is there any other information that I'm missing regarding that question specifically?
Yeah, that's a good start. League of Legends is 5 versus 5. Rocket League is 3 versus 3. And then the bench players are included as well. So you can have bench players to rotate. Mario Kart is 4 versus 4. What else do we have? Smash is 3 versus 3. Splatoon is 4 versus 4. The sports games such as NBA 2K or Madden are going to be solo. So just one individual player against another one from their school. What am I missing, Jacob?
That's pretty much all I can think of off the top of my head. The only thing I would note aside of that would be, if it's a 3-person game, for instance, say like Super Smash Bros., definitely recommend having 4 players on that team, just in case if a student's ever out sick, on vacation, absent, whatever it might be. So, if you see a game that has 5 players or 3 players, whatever it might be, always want to factor in that +1 just for a substitute or alternate, whichever direction you all choose to go.
Okay, perfect. And then I also noted Mike did share the spring schedule, and I did drop in that information. Jacob was correct. We will be at Western Michigan University for our in-person state championship this spring, which we're very excited about. So if you are planning to take part in the season, please note that date, and that is an in-person event. That is the one time that we do ask our esports teams to travel if they make it to the finals match. We also encourage people that don't make it all the way to the finals to still join us that day. So please feel free to mark that date on your calendars and see if you can get some funding from the school to attend that event. It should be great, and we'll have more information to be shared about that once the spring season gets started. And I think the other question we probably answered was regarding hardware and IT information. Am I missing anything besides noting that technological resources and the Play Versus on the Play Versus website, team?
Yes.
Maggie, could you reshare that schedule link? Because it looks like I just sent it to hosts and panelists, but if you could copy and paste it and put it into everyone's chat so they can see it.
Of course, there we go.
Awesome, perfect. Oh, no, the other link.
I'm sorry. I will get that over to you guys momentarily with the schedule for the spring season and spring schedule. Here we go. I will drop the link into everybody for the Play Versus resource center that they have. This is a wonderful resource that I would highly recommend bookmarking. It'll have a lot of answers to questions that you may have. And we also, obviously, you can always reach out to the three of us or my coworker, Ryan, who is the director of MHSEL. I did drop everybody's email address into the chat as well. And if Jacob is good, and I don't see any other questions popping into the Q&A yet, I am going to go ahead and share my screen quickly just to kind of give some specifics on our league itself. Play Versus noted that they started 4 years ago, and we actually are only in our 3rd year. So we have been with Play Versus since our start in the fall of 2020. We are a varsity level league. So obviously this is going to be a school decision, but you can offer a varsity letter for this team if you wish to do so. We do have 2 seasons. We just wrapped up our fall season at Oakland University with a 2-day event with semifinals and finals in person, along with our Esports conference. And obviously, as noted before, we will be at Western Michigan University to wrap up the spring season on April 29th, I believe is the date. And our team, Jacob and Mike, have already touched on our game titles that we offer. And so this is just kind of an overview. MHSEL, our mission is to provide a safe, competitive, and curricular environment to allow student athletes the opportunity to build critical skill sets, explore career paths, and contribute to their school's culture. One of the biggest things that Jacob did touch on is that 45% of students involved in esports, this is their first time being involved in their school culture. And that's a huge portion of the population that you guys are hitting a mark on. And one of the things we like to already say is your kids in your school are already playing these games. So you're really just giving them that opportunity to, learn team building, to build those soft skills that happen on a team setting. So that's something that we really do like to highlight and know as a huge benefit to offer an esports program in your school. And then I do see we have a question. Does Play Versus offer coaching if local school does not have a coach that can actually help lead practices? So this is something that is a huge benefit of esports. You do not need to be an esports expert, know the games or anything like that to be a coach. So this is something that we like to know is your students can take the lead on a lot of those running practices and being a manager and giving you that insight. I do have a few contacts here that are local Michigan contacts. We have a few coaches that have been a huge help with our league. And one of them, for instance, Steve Forsberg, he is an assistant principal at Ludington High School. And he started his esports program and knew nothing about it. And now he helps us run Esports 101 webinars and giving presentations at different conferences. So if anybody would like contact information, we also have Divine Child High School has been a huge asset to our league as well. And they help us with new coaches webinars, which we will be hosting a new coaches webinar in January. And I can follow up with that exact date in the follow-up email as well. So hopefully I was able to answer your question there. Jacob, Mike, do you have anything more that you'd like to add to that?
No, that covered it pretty well. But I've had theater teachers, biology teachers, English teachers that, just like you said, had no previous experience in esports or video games. They were not gamers, and they just really leaned on their kids who they had all the knowledge. They just needed, a coach to be supportive and organize everything and get the financials taken care of. So the kids will be very passionate and they will lead, and they'll help you get this together, especially your key students they'll showcase that leadership skills. So don't worry about all the technicals. That's the easy part.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And then as Jacob did talk about a little bit, we have seen a huge growth in our league from season to season, and we compare fall to fall and spring to spring, as some schools decide to only play one season a year, and then some schools do like to play both seasons, which is great. You have the opportunity to offer whichever works best for your school itself. And again, there's our heat map. We do have all of these heat maps so that you can see who is actually competing in the league on our website, MHSEL.org. And then just to touch base on a few upcoming events that are specific to MHSEL. So we are currently just started the Level Up tournament. We partner with the Detroit Pistons professional gaming team and the Motor City Rivals to offer this Rocket League tournament. And there's $1,000 cash prize with that. So that kicked off today, and there are 8 teams that are competing. We are working on doing an in-person regional tournament at the Wayne State Fieldhouse with the Motor City crews as well. So stay tuned for more information on that. Again, we are also trying to work with Grand Valley State University and the Grand Rapids Griffins for a tournament here coming this spring. I will believe it'll be in early March day. I believe it'll be a Saturday. So again, more information to come on that. But we are trying to host these extra in-person events to give your teams those opportunities, not just to play in the league, but to get involved in some in-person events, because I would say there's a difference in competing with somebody that's just online versus being in person and competing with them. There's a different atmosphere and competitiveness that kind of kicks in, and it's great to see the involvement at in-person events. We are also working with Divine Child High School. We will be doing a tournament at their school at the end of February. We work with Fair State and Western Michigan University, and many more other details to come on the upcoming events, but just to give you a taste of what being in MHSEL League offers for you. And then also, if anybody, I just want to throw this in here, we are working on a middle level club program. We offer a curriculum and just gives you week by week plans and everything. to start a middle level club if anybody is interested in middle level specifically. Nina Davis is our associate director of middle level here at MASSP, and there's her contact information if you have any questions or want to reach out to her directly on that. Just wanted to share that information. And then here are the dates again for spring season. Just kind of reiterate that of, when preseason starts, when enrollment deadline hits, which again is February 10th. Would like to mark that date on your calendar, and just kind of reiterate and bring home the fact that we really encourage people to take a part of the preseason. You get extra practice. You get to make sure all your equipment and all of your IT is figured out, and you don't run into any hiccups where you're forced to do a forfeit. We really want to try to avoid that at all costs, just for your team specifically, and to give you guys the best experience possible on the league. And then playoffs begin in early April, and then we have our in-person state championship at WMU on 4/29. Is there anything specific? I do know there might be a question because spring season does hit over spring break. Jacob or Mike, could you just give some information regarding how the season is built? And I believe there might be a bye week. Could you give a little bit of detail on that, please?
Sure. Yeah, we offer all schools the option to select one custom bye week. So if you want to align that with your spring break, so you don't have to worry about reschedules or anything like that, then you'll be able to do so. And that is a required step at the enrollment page. So once you're enrolling your teams, the second step is to select that bye week. So as long as you know what your spring break is, no issues at all.
Okay, awesome. Thanks so much. I just did want to highlight that. So know that you won't be forfeiting because you're on spring break. You'll have that as your bye week and you'll be good to go with your team. And then I just want to give you guys a little taste of what an in-person event is like for us. This is just a little bit of footage from our spring championship last year for the fall or for the spring season, my apologies, at Oakland University. So we've got Super Smash Brothers here. And as you can see, kids in the audience really do get involved while they're watching this live. We work with our college partners, Oakland University, Ferris State University, to provide shoutcasting and broadcasting, so people in the audience actually know what's going on, even if they don't necessarily understand the game. It's being shoutcasted and narrated so that you have a better understanding. And this arena here at Oakland University this past fall season was full to the brim at the semifinals and state championships, which is great to have that in-person attendance as well. Do a little bit more of this, and again, I will share this video out with our follow-up. But people really do enjoy it. The kids have a lot of fun, and being in person, again, like I said, just gives them a new atmosphere to get that experience of that competition. It does look like we have one more question that's popped up. Smash teams of 3, but play is 1 versus 1. Yes, that is correct. And can we have more than one team per game if we have enough kids? Yes, the answer to that is yes. You can have, one of the positive things is your school can be involved, and you can say that you have an esports team, but you could have 10 different teams within one team of esports at your school, which is such a great opportunity for your kids. One of the things that Jacob did note was the unlimited opportunities, depending on, are the different pricing plans, depending on the number of students that you have at your school that are interested. I will say some of the unlimited for some of the larger schools. If you have a ton of teams, that's a great opportunity. It's unlimited players, unlimited games that they can play. It's a great opportunity for you there if you have a ton of students involved. Now, if you have a little bit less amount of students involved, then you might want to look at doing the player per game per season. Player per player, but player per game per season pricing as well. All right, and I just got a couple more slides here. I know that we have a lot of educators on the webinar today, and I did want to highlight our director of esports, Ryan Casey, who was unable to join us today. Has started and developed an entire online course of Esports 101, and you can earn sketches for that. You can earn up to 2 sketches. It's a free online course, and it's available through the Michigan Virtual Professional Learning Portal. Again, I will make a note to follow up with the recording and also a link to that online course once it is published and available for everyone. So just in case you want to get some more information, we have other resources as well to support you. And then just so that you guys have our information, please feel free to take this down, give us a call, shoot us an email. Ryan and I are happy to help. And if there isn't something that we know the answer to, the 2 people that are on this call with me, Jacob and Mike, are my 2 go-tos at Playversus, and we will be able to get an answer for you regarding the questions that you have. And then that is all I have today. Does anybody have any questions before we wrap up today?